Hello, everyone. This is an amazing day and an amazing meeting with Arlette Schomelian, a lady that is a parenting coach, and she's doing an amazing work with all parents that want to have good relationship with their kids. And I love to speak with Arlette about the impact that we have on the world through the impact that we have on our kids, because it's so important, because this is the most amazing impact and the most obvious one that can take us to understanding how do we impact the world in general. And that's why for me this conversation today is very important, and I hope you will enjoy it. And let's start with you. Who are you? Where are you? What are you doing? And why it is so important to be a good parent, and what does it mean?
Hi, Camila. First of all, good morning, and thank you very much for having me today. It's our second interview together, and I was very excited when you told me, because I really love your questions and I really like the way you lead what's important, really, the impact that we can have on our kids. So for our viewers, my name is Arlette Schomelian. I'm based in Cyprus. My background is in psychology. I am a parent coach as well as a mindset coach, and I help parents, specifically busy parents, find balance, at home, at work, with themselves. To balance is the key for achieving and creating an impact onto our kids and families.
That's the point. And what is our impact on kids? Such a basic question.
It's not a basic question. I mean, when I first gave birth to my first child and I brought her back from the clinic, and I remember I was holding her, and I suddenly felt this feeling of a little bit of like a bit of overwhelm, a bit of panic, because I looked at her and I said, oh my God, this child is completely dependent on me. If I feed her, she will survive. If I don't feed her, she won't survive. Completely dependent on me. And I remember as a parent, it was the first time I experienced that feeling of overwhelmed. And at that particular moment, I understood that, oh my God, what we do completely impacts our kids as parents. Okay, there is a complete impact, because the way we communicate, the way we interact, our upbringing, the way we parent, our stress level, how happy we are in our life, how we cope with, how we manage with life's challenges, everything, nutrition as well, everything directly affects our kids. So everything.
We want it or not, whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, and our eyebrow movements are impacting our kids. Do you agree?
Yeah, everything impacts our kids. That's why I always say to the parents that, first of all, the focus should be on us more than the kids, because if the focus is on the kids, we will always find things such as why my child is behaving in this way, my child is misbehaving, my child is rude, my child is not socializing, my child is not whatever. So when we are focusing too much on their behavior, which we should, but when we are focusing too much on their behavior, then we are missing the key ingredients. We're missing the key ingredients of what is really happening. And the best place to start is back to us. The attention is back to us. And that's why we need to check in continuously with ourselves during the day. How am I feeling? How am I feeling right now? What is it that is bothering me? My child, because when child is misbehaving and is doing something, you are also affected by it. You are triggered by it. And if you are aware of your own thoughts, your thoughts are always not in the present moment. As parents, often, from my own experience, are not asking, but why my child is behaving like this? how my child is feeling. No, our thoughts are all in the future. Oh my God, how am I going to cope with this? What if my child never manages? It's all about fear.
And that's the main question I have, because how do we impact our kids? It's an obvious question, but I think the key is to understand, why are we doing that? What is the goal of this all? Because the goal is not to have our kids quiet. I hope that no one has this goal. And the goal is not to make our kids obedient at school. I hope that absolutely nobody has this goal. But to make them people, adult people that are living their lives. What do you think about it?
Yeah, but how do we do it? How do we do it?
How do we do that? Because whatever we do right here, right now, gives the effect right here, right now, or not, especially with kids, or not. But how can we know how this, what we do right now, like cooking the dinner not at 6 p.m. but at 8 p.m. Will affect them in the future, in 20 years, in 40 years, in 60 years, because everything has the result in that long term that is so much, so away from us, right? So far away.
It's a great question, Camila. Obviously, we cannot control everything, obviously, because at some point we were also kids, and we also have our own issues and packages and experiences and traumas and everything else. So we cannot control everything, but there are two fundamental things that are extremely important. That, first of all, is how happy you are as a parent. It's very important, because when you're happy, your kids are happy. Because when you're feeling happy, and when I mean happy, I don't mean because this happiness is overrated, in the sense that people expect to feel happy all the time. It's not like that. Nobody feels happy all the time. We're talking about that moments during the day when you're feeling that, okay, I'm in peace, I'm calm, I'm okay, I feel good. This is happiness. And happiness is also enjoying your time at home with them, or doing your work, or doing whatever, your friends, whatever you're doing, you're enjoying it. You haven't lost the joy of enjoying. So this is happiness. So when you are in that state as a parent, you need to make sure that you are always bringing back yourself to that state of feeling good and feeling happy again. Because when you are feeling good, when you're feeling happy, you are more patient, you react less, you are less irritated, you can be more loving, because you're more calm, because your nervous system is in a calm state. So the first one is, I would say, that check the happiness, how good you're feeling during the day. And second, nothing beats love that we give to our kids. And when I say love, it's not enough just to love them. It's very important to express our love. Of course, children experience the love that we give them through different things. So maybe through our cooking, our nurturing, asking them how they feel, etc. But our kids should also hear, I love you. Hugs, I love you. You mean everything to me. So it's very important for children to also hear it from us. Now, I know that it doesn't always come naturally for all parents, because maybe some of us, we were brought up without hugs, without listening a lot to I love yous, etc. And it was not part of our upbringing. We maybe felt it, but it was not really part of our upbringing. So it doesn't really come out naturally. We don't really think about it. That's why it's important to evaluate these things and to make a mental note and to take decisions that, you know what, I'm going to show more love to my kids.
Arlette, private question to you right now, because I have the feeling that I'm on the other side of the axe. I mean that I say to my kids frequently that I love them. Whenever we speak on the phone, whenever we farewell each other before going to school and work, when we are back home together, anytime. Good night, I love you, all the time. I have the impression that I could give them more love in acting, not only in just saying. How to do that?
Okay. The most important thing is that our kids will come to us with anything. The most important thing is this, I will rephrase. Children, like humans, like adults, want to feel seen, acknowledged, and validated. Seen, acknowledged, and validated. These are very important. So if you're asking me how you can create an impact as a parent, is these three things. Make sure your children are seen and they are acknowledged and their feelings are validated. So how do we do that? It's important that when our kids come to us, or whatever interaction we have with our kids, usually we are with our mobile phones. Some of us work from home, so our energy might not be there. Our minds might be distracted, but it's important to leave things at least for a few minutes and to give that undivided attention to our kids with eye contact. That I see you. Have the conversation when you are talking to them, not when you're cooking. And of course, these things happen too, but you need to evaluate. And you need
avatar
to
practice. Avatar practice, not hello. I see you.
Yeah. I see you, I hear you, I see that you're not feeling well. What happened? Acknowledge their feeling. I understand that you're angry. Acknowledge the feeling. I understand that you're sad, you're disappointed, you're that. Only that, just reflect what you see in front of you. Don't need to fix anything as a parent, because what we do, we jump, fix, we forget what have you done? Why didn't you do something about it? Why didn't you say this? Why didn't you talk to your teacher? That's what we do. We jump and we advise and we do things. I'm not saying don't guide or don't advise, but first let them process whatever they're seeing, let them feel validated and acknowledged, and then there is time for everything else and a lot of eye contact. It's
okay.
Very
So
important.
number one, seen. So I catch myself when you say that. I see that I fix with my sons, especially recently when it's the end of the school year, and for me it's a nightmare. But I focus on what is necessary to be done, and I reject all other things, which is not good, because then the kids see that I fix things, I solve the problems, but I can't see them. Am I right?
Yes.
Wrong way. I should also give them some attention, even if it's artificial. So I return back home and I say, hey honey, how are you doing today?
So basically, what I hear you saying is that you get into the mode of doing things because you have to do it. It's the practical things that you need to do, because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? So you have to do it. So you're saying that you get on that mode of doing things, which is fair enough. We do it, and I mean, I get a lot on that mode where I need to do things, etc. And if I'm being honest with you, my wish is I hope nobody interrupts me while I'm doing it, because I can do it much faster. And but it also says something here. It's not just during those moments when you're doing something. Maybe generally this is your mode of working. When you start doing something, you're like one after the other. Let me finish this. And in the meantime, there are things in the environment that need also your attention. Maybe not your undivided attention, because we are not simply cannot do that continuously, but some attention will keep the balance. I will get back to you. I'm busy right now. Let me get back to you. I'm going to explain to you exactly what's happening. I love you. Hold on for a minute. Rather than just shutting down and ignoring what's happening around. And when we ignore it, we're not aware of it. So
how about acknowledgement? How to acknowledge them?
So when our kids come and tell us things, most of the time we don't like, most of the time or sometimes we don't really like what they're saying, or maybe we don't even believe that they have a right to feel in a certain way because we're shocked. What do you mean? You don't have to. Where did you bring these feelings? Why are you feeling like that? You have no reason why to feel like that. This is in our mind. Okay, this is in our mind. There is also an element of frustration involved. But instead of trying to handle them with logic and telling them, but why you're feeling like that? You don't have to, you don't need to feel like that. You don't need to do this. Instead of trying to give them the information that we need to give them with logic, which goes nowhere, it's important that we take step backwards and just acknowledge what they're feeling. Sad, angry, and if you're not sure, just ask. I see you upset. What are you feeling? What's happening? I want to hear you. So this is how you acknowledge, by not jumping and giving them, trying to acknowledge them with logic, which they cannot see at that moment, because at that moment they are doing something else, but also just to acknowledge them what they are doing. Acknowledgement also means that try to find, when you see something positive in your child, acknowledge that. Maybe they said something, acknowledge it. Maybe they did something, acknowledge it. Because sometimes we wait for something big to happen to give them that acknowledgement. No, it could be something small. It could be a small act of kindness. It could be something that they've done, or maybe they woke up on time on a particular day. Whatever it is, acknowledge whatever effort that they are putting. So feelings and action.
Even small things, right? Appreciation of small acts.
Yes.
Of anything.
Anything.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
This is what really.
And how about validation?
Validation for me is, we need to honor who they are. We need to honor who they are, what their existence is, because we want our kids to be in a specific way. We want them to do things in a specific way, be in a specific way, and we might guide them towards what we want and not necessarily what they are made up of. Because anytime that we are pushing our kids against their nature, we are confusing them, and we are making them get far away from themselves. Now, having said this, I'm talking about nature. I'm not talking about bad personality traits that we need to talk about, that we need to shape, that we need to create. I'm not talking about things like that. But I'm talking about things like that. Validate, for example, your child likes art, but you want them to be an accountant. Why? Because accountants make more money than artists. So you move them towards that direction. I guess what happens? If this child is an artist, even if you send them to the best accounting schools and this person gets the best qualification from the best university and gets the best job, at the end of the day, they are not going to excel. And the worst part of that, they are not going to feel fulfilled, because they are not made up of that. They can do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it brings them fulfillment. You can't imagine how many students I met when I was doing my master's in psychology. I met architects, I met business people, I met accountants, and they were in their 40s, and I was in my 20s. And I was like, always, why are you doing a master's in psychology? They were telling me because I always wanted to become a psychologist, but my parents didn't approve it. They told me it's better if you become an accountant, an architect, you know, a lawyer or whatever. But I'm pretty good at my job, but I don't really enjoy it. And now in my 40s, I've decided to do what I really want to do. So this is because they were not validated. They had their parents had a negative impact on validating who they really are and what they really want.
Mothers, fathers, mothers hear that negative impact of by saying you are not going to be who you want to be, you're going to be someone that I picked for you.
Yeah. It goes all the way through choosing what they're going to wear, controlling everything. But as parents, it's important to keep that balance. How do you keep the balance where the child feels validated, but at the same time, as parents, we need to make sure that we're guiding them into the right paths, because we will not accept all the decisions that they're making. We cannot accept all the decisions that they are making, because some of them are going to have a negative impact on their life, and because they lack the experience where we can see it clearly, but we want to give that message with a strong positive impact. Whatever message we're giving, it has to be effective when we're talking about impact. So which means really thinking about it, talking about it, not just doing what you think and on impulse. Ask. We are in an era where there is information, there are people. Just ask. This is what I'm going through, and I want to create a positive impact on my child, specifically on this particular issue. How can I do it? How can I negotiate like what you do? How can I communicate like you do, Camila? How can I reach out so that my message is loud and clear?
That's the point. And
That's
always, I think the best tool is always remember whom we want this person to be in the future, and then adjust our acts to what we want for them in the future. And if we want them to be independent, think independently, be responsible, think if doing something instead of your wonderful son and not giving him the responsibility for washing the dishes or cleansing up his own room, will it make him responsible? Him or her? It affects girls as well, right?
Yeah, you have 4 boys, I have 2 girls, so for you it's him, for me it's she.
Yeah. Arlette, I have a tough question. I'm curious if it's tough for you as well, because now I work with the concept of influence and impact by the fact of existence. And I think that parenting and relationship kids parents is absolutely the best possible example of this impact. And the first example that came to my mind was, imagine that you're an adult and you don't speak with your parents because you don't like them. You had an argument years ago and you're not in contact at all, but you know that they are somewhere. And imagine that they are not anymore right now. What changes in your life? And I don't need the answer, because I know that the change is so significant that we all understand the meaning of the fact of existence of those 2 persons in the world. I think it affects kids exactly the same way. Imagine you yourself, not having any kids right now in this moment of your life. Just like me, the same. Would I do what I do right now? Would I be right here if I wouldn't have my 4 sons? don't think so.
No. No.
Just the fact of existence, no conversation, no acting, no problems to solve, just the fact of existence. What do you think about it, and how do you think it applies to the fact of being a parent and fact of act of parenting, of raising the kids, bringing them up?
Are you saying that I just need to clarify the question. Are you saying that having a parent and not having contact with them, how does that
It's just an example, right? Because you can be in a very good contact, and it's obvious that if they die when you had a very good contact with them, your life is in ruin, right? But the good example is when you're not in touch with them, like I'm not in touch with my mother because it's impossible. The coexistence is impossible. But I know that if she dies, my world will change for sure. And I don't wish her that by now, right?
because not being in contact is what you said is still something when that person is alive and exists, but you're not in contact, so it has a different meaning in your aura than it's funny you're bringing this question, because just yesterday I had a session with parents, clients, that they were telling me that they were not, this particular person is not in contact with his mother for almost, I don't know, 15 years. And his child is now asking, where is the grandmother? Where is your mother? Is old enough to ask these questions, and he doesn't know how to handle this situation, to tell the truth that we are not in contact and I don't want my mother in my life, or my child is young and I don't want to create this negative impact, because I don't want my child to believe from this young age that, oh my God, love is not unconditional then. If my father is not speaking to his mom for 12, 15 years, so it means that it can also happen to me. It means that love is not really unconditional between parents and children, because this is what the child will be feeling in so many, they won't be able to articulate in words, but that's the feeling that they will get. So my advice was, don't tell your child that you don't want to see your parent and you're not in contact, because you're at this stage when your child is 7. Obviously, it's something that you need to deal with when they get older, but when they are 7 years old, you don't want to give this negative impact of bringing this message to your child that, you know, this also happens, because we know it happens, and we know when the child is older, a little bit older, then you will be able to have this kind of conversations. They will be able to understand it, because at that stage they will know about attachment, love, communication. Their nervous system will be more expanded, so it means that they will be able to understand things logically. We cannot always assume that just giving birth to a child that makes you a good parent with a positive impact on your child. We cannot really assume that. I know that it's Mother Nature and the bond is there, but not every parent that gives birth or has a child deserves to be a parent, because some of the parents, they can create a lot of traumas to their children, abuse, traumas, because of the traumas and the abuse, what they have experienced in their own life.
Hey, wait. We don't want the listeners to feel guilty.
Yes.
Mind it, it's not this purpose. We're talking about impact. And Arlette knows that very well, like probably most of us know that very well as well, that very unconsciously, but we can cause some problems in our kids just by being unhappy because of trauma. And I want to refer to unconditional love because it's the strongest possible impact we can have on anyone, not only on our kids, I guess. It's my concept, but I would like you also to say a few words about it, because it's said, or it's a belief in our common consciousness that parents give kids the unconditional love, and this is what the essence of parenting is it?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say something here, because you brought the issue of guilt, which is very important. We need to understand that there isn't a single parent in this world that is perfect. Not even one. Nobody's perfect. So if you're a human being and if you're a parent, it means that you also had childhood. You also learned a few things. Some complexes are, it passes from generations to generations. It runs in families. So we all have our certain amount of baggage or traumas or experiences, negative experiences in our lives. Okay, so nobody is perfect. And whether we like it or not, our children are going to adopt some of our baggages, our experiences, because this is how it is. You cannot really protect your child for 100% from everything. It's normal. But that's why I said we need to accept the fact that certain things are going to happen. Some people are more abused than others. Yeah, and it's more traumatic, and it could be physical, it could be sexual, it could be whatever, any type of trauma experiences. Then the baggage is heavier. Then it's important to do something so that not all the baggage is passed, some of the baggage is passed, because some things are going to go to our kids. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that how we deal with our situation. So we may feel guilty because we haven't done certain things in a different way. Today, my mood was not the best. Yesterday, I didn't cook the best, or I didn't give the attention. This is all part of being a parent, and we all experience it. We cannot be perfect. We cannot create this positive impact continuously, but there are times we make up for it. And the way we make up for it is verbally. When you feel guilty, because you're going to feel guilty, you're a parent, you're going to feel guilty. It's always never enough. It's always this. When you feel guilty, just ask yourself, why am I feeling guilty? What is it that did I speak with my child in a way that I'm not happy about? Did I do something, whatever it is? Don't dwell on the guilt, because the guilt is going to create more negative impacts in your life and onto your children. The aim is to create a positive impact. So turn the guilt into something productive, which is own up. Just own up. Just go to your child and say, I messed it up. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. I messed it up because I'm not well, or I am busy, or I'm tired, but I love you. It has nothing to do with you. I reacted. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything wrong. But even if you did something wrong, I still didn't want to react in this way. I don't approve this behavior of you. I want to explain why, etc. But I also want to teach you that there are better ways of dealing with things. And this is what I'm trying to learn for myself. And this is what I want you to learn too. So when you are owning up that you messed up, or you're communicating, first of all, you appear more human to your child. And second, which is the most important thing, is that your child is not creating resentment towards you. you're clearing away the resentment. And this is very, very powerful. It's the most powerful thing, because we are going to mess up. The problem is that we don't go back to apologize or to talk or to connect again with the child. We leave it. So that's where the disconnection starts. We have to accept that we're going to mess up. We're going to make mistakes. But that's not the important part. We need to accept that. The most important part is to go and to talk to them and to clear the air and to make sure that we are connecting again with our children, and that there is no ill feeling anymore between you two, and there is no resentment anymore, because the fear of not doing that is resentment, disconnection, anger. Then how do you, it becomes more difficult.
Amazing. We are people, and this is the relationship. Every relationship means the impact on others. Every relationship means my impact on you and your impact on me. There is no relationship without the impact. They impact us, we impact them. And it doesn't work this way that it's always beautiful. Sometimes something has to be wrong.
Always.
And the idea is to fix it.
Yeah. And to own up. Because at the end of the day, like in any relationship, what really creates the biggest impact in any relationship is the connection. Children misbehave when they feel disconnected with their parents or with their environment. Friendships start acting weird because they feel that the connection is not the best. Couples, the same thing. They lose the connection and things start happening. So the most important thing is to really, really work on maintaining a healthy relationship. And how do we do that? It's not because we make mistakes, we mess up, we yell sometimes. No. We don't do something in a different. No, the way we do it is that we need to make sure that we are keeping the connection with our kids, with telling them we love them, we hug them, we own up when we make mistakes. We talk about things, we validate
connection as the parallel of unconditional love.
I would say that what is unconditional love? Not everyone can give unconditional love, because not everyone experienced unconditional love. Unconditional love is, I love you no matter what. I will accept you no matter what. Even if you turn out to be a criminal, a different sexual orientation, making decisions that doesn't go with my decisions, maybe studying something else than what the parent wants, going to another country, marrying somebody else, and still accepting all your decisions because I love you unconditionally. So that's why I'm saying that what is unconditional love? And this is very important. Yes, we need to be able to love our children unconditionally, which also means that we also need to accept their life decisions, all their life decisions, sexual orientations, decisions about job study. But that's why
and now
really exist always.
Now the most tricky question. Does it affect only the relationship with kids? Because I think it doesn't. I think it's about any relationship.
The connection,
the relationship with, of course, and unconditional love.
of course.
The relationship with kids is very, very special. They are the blood from our blood, but
it's easier.
I can also give unconditional love to you, which I do with my biggest pleasure, because I do love you, Arlette. And I believe that you can give your unconditional love to me, which you did very many times, and I'm very grateful to you.
I love you too, Camila. You have been there for me too. We've known each other for almost 3 years now. Yeah, I mean, unconditional love is very important, and it transmits. You feel it, I feel it, I'm there, etc. But as I said, it doesn't always happen, and I don't always want to, because sometimes we get angry with our kids too. There are specific moments that we get angry with our kids and we don't feel the love at that moment. We're disappointed, we're angry, we're frustrated with them, we don't feel the love. But that doesn't mean that we don't love them unconditionally. That doesn't mean that. We love them unconditionally, but it doesn't mean that we have to accept all their life decisions, especially the ones that we know it's going to really harm them. But at the end of the day, we need again to take a decision to love them unconditionally and to accept their life decisions if they are so insistent that they don't want to change. Because otherwise, what? If you don't do what I tell you to do, then I don't want to have a relationship with you. Then I stop loving you. This is not unconditional love. Unconditional love is that you do what you can, you advise them what you do. At the end of the day, they take decisions and we still love them no matter what. No matter what, which means we accept them. It comes down to acceptance.
That's it. Arlette, let's wrap it.
Yeah.
2 things before we go. One thing, what do you want our listeners to stay with? And number 2, what do you want from our listeners? And the same question to me. I want you, dear listener, to stay with 2 consciousnesses, if you could call it this way. One is that whatever you do, just by the fact of existence, you have an impact on your kids. They're the best example. You have impact on anyone this way. And you cannot change it. You're not transparent. You exist with your body and with your mind that affects others. And second thing I want you to stay with is that it's also the relationship. And like in any relationship, there is you impacting others and there are others impacting you. That's why this relationship exists. This is the reason why, because you impact each other. This is the basis of the relationship. And it works this way, and it's in your hands how you want to impact others. So this relationship looks like it does. That's the point. And you then, and then we will say what we want from our listeners.
So I would say that the most important thing at the end of the day is your self-care. Your self-care, how you take care of yourself. And when I'm talking about self-care, I'm not only talking about your physical self-care, because usually a lot of people are very good. They're going to do their yoga, Pilates, walking, eating healthy, etc. Perfect. That's absolutely necessary. But I'm emphasizing today on your emotional self-care, how you feel inside, how you're handling situations, and your emotional well-being impacts everything in your life. It impacts your relationship with yourself, it impacts the relationship with your friends, your partner, with everybody, the connection that you create. And pay attention to that. If you feel that you are not doing you're taking care of yourself physically and you're not taking care of yourself emotionally, you need to understand that by taking care of yourself emotionally, you really activate the impact, the positive impact you're going to have in everybody around you, because it transmits. The other thing is that it is crucial that you expand your self-awareness of things and be mindful of your thoughts, because it's your thoughts that are activating a feeling in you. If you're thinking, I'm not good enough, or I won't be able to do it, then the thought that is activating is fear, doubting yourself, and then from there it's like a spiral, it goes to other things. So, and we always act from that point of the awareness that we have. So how do you expand your self-awareness? Hire a coach, hire a mentor. You will move much faster than doing it on your own. There are expert people, there are experts that will know how to guide you through this process, taking care of your emotional health, your well-being, as well as expanding your self-awareness, so that you create a bigger impact on your own overall well-being and to the people that are around, including mainly your kids.
That's it. Cool. Let's go to what we want from our listeners. My dear listeners, it's the first time when I do that, but I think it's a very good idea. If you want to number one, I speak to women mainly. If a man wants to work with me, I'm also open, but I know that ladies usually have problem with understanding how impactful they are. That's why I'm here. And I usually propose it to business ladies, but it doesn't work only for business, because if you consider the relationship, the way that you impact the other and the other impacts you, and this is why this relationship exists, it's good to understand how do you impact the other person. And you can do that both ways. You can do that unconsciously, so it just happens like the life happens to you, or you can make a conscious impact on others. Like, for example, you have an idea whom you want your kids to be when they're adult. So what you can offer them to help them to be this kind of people as you want them to be, or at least what do you want to give them? What tools do you want to give them to manage their life in the future? And if you would love to find your value proposition, this is the value proposition that we have for our kids, and you understand who you really are and what is the best that you can offer your kids, please contact me, because I definitely know how to extract it from you and make you happy with your own offer for your children. This is me. And I know that Arlette also have an idea how to make you a really good parent. So your turn now. What do you want from Arlette?
Camilla, before I move on to me, I just want to say to our viewers, because earlier I said that how important it is to work with someone like an expert, like a coach, to take you where you want to go. And I want to bring it again. I've said it in the past too. When I had 2 sessions with you, 2 coaching sessions, and you helped me with negotiation. And it was extremely important, because sometimes we may feel that we are all educated, we are coaches, we are this, we are that. We don't need, we already have what we need. And just 2 sessions with you on how to really negotiate and to communicate to get what I really want, it really helped me, and it created the shift, the impact in me directly, which helped me to go and to negotiate and to do so. Camilla's work is extremely valuable, especially to us women which we are not really used to negotiating alone a lot. So you could be this executive, you could be whoever you were going to be, but Camilla gives this amazing practical tools, and you feel empowered to go after what you really want just after 1 session. So I said personal recommendation. for you, Camila.
The point is, the point is that ladies do not want to negotiate because they combine it with fight. And I understand that because it is a fight. But if we go to our female powers, and the female power is not fighting, but attracting. And value proposition is for the purpose of attracting, because I know what I have and I offer it to you. Take it or not, it's your decision. But this is what I can do for you. This is what I propose.
Yeah, this is what I really like in your approach. Yeah, this is what I really like in your approach, because I don't like fighting, getting things with fighting, arguing. I don't like it. I mean, I prefer if there is a dialogue. But in order for us to do that, it means that we need to step into our own power. And it doesn't mean negotiating, doesn't mean we have to fight to get what we want. This is what you explained to me, and you made me get in touch with my feminine, powerful energy to go after what I really wanted, and it was a great impact. So yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Camila. For me, I just want to say that I'm a mindset coach and I'm a parent coach. I have specific programs for my clients. I have e-courses on transformation, empowering transformation. I also have for parents, but since we're talking about impact for parents, I have 2 specific programs for parents, which I really, really love. One of them is for busy parents, and it's a monthly membership, because most of the time parents say, I don't have time, I don't have a lot of money. So this is accessible, affordable. You don't need to really attend, because everything will be recorded. All you need to do is get your phone, send the questions to me, or upload your questions in the like-minded community of parents. And on my weekly Q&A sessions, I will be able to answer all your questions and tailor-make to your needs and to your family needs.
Wait, but I'm not going to let you go now.
Yeah.
Busy parents working with you, and with what changes in their relationship with their kids?
Yeah, so when they enroll in my monthly mentorship program, which is a private group on Facebook, what they will get is that 4 Q&A sessions with me, question and sessions, weekly sessions with me, which I accumulate all the questions that they send me, and I will tailor-made it to their needs. They will also get my e-course, self-paced e-course for parents, which is called From Crazy to Calm, which will give them 20 short video tutorials, which they can listen to it when they want to. And any question, we're talking about raising the self-awareness of parents, and we're also talking about creating an impact. Any question that they may have during the week.
This is what changes in the life of busy parents. Your self-awareness rise, and you're aware of what kind of impact you have on your kids, simply with your set of behaviors, with your set of communicates you have for your kids. And then you can use them consciously, and consciously build your bond with your kids and build them as powerful people.
Yeah. Thank you, Camila, for putting it like that, because usually parents are busy. They have a question. They don't have time to deal with it. So it's just a matter of 1 second, send your question, and you will get the answer, tailor-made answer based on your needs, so that nothing is gone under the carpet anymore. It's what you said, parenting consciously to raise awareness.
That's it. And thanks to your advices, I also deal better with my sons. And sometimes I simply can stand their ideas. Yeah. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Arlette, thank you for this amazing conversation. Of course, we are going to continue. And if you have the questions, you the listeners, the viewers, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Whenever you're watching it, we recorded in 2023, the summer, European summer. But if you watch it later, put your questions in the comment or direct message both of us, and we will be happy to reply to you in our another conversation. And thank you for watching. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Camilla, and everybody else. See you soon.